ES Market Recap, March 1st, 2023. Today we opened low in range. If we look here, you see we opened right around here. This was 6:30. Okay, no, we opened low out of range. This is below this range. So I go to my Metrics Maestro playbook, and here, yeah, and I'm sure there's more to it than just looking at this one playbook. This is something I'm trying to learn from for now. Here's lower out of range. And when the market opens lower out of range, either the IBH or IBL is broken 100% of the time, and the IBL is favored by only 2%. Gap is closed only 41% of the time. The NVPOC is closed only 32% of the time. So in this case here, opened out of range, ended up going higher. That looks like that's the VPOC. Came back up and tested it. Didn't really get anywhere here. So going back to our chart, you know, in this here I have, that's just a linear regression channel. We go back quite a ways here. Won't let me do it on there. So we go back to day. See this trend that we're in, which that just shows you two standard deviation from the mean. Yeah, that's two standard deviations from the mean. And yeah, basically since June of last year, we've been in this range here going back and forth. And we are at 37 right now as of 10:21 p.m. Pacific. And we're kind of stuck in this area still. It's trying to decide, are we still going down? Are we at a point where this could go up? I'm not quite sure yet. There's a book map. Here's Investor RT. Can take a little bit closer look at what happened today. And I have a screenshot of one trade that I did today. I had 3 losers that were pretty bad. I had one excellent one that, you know, I got on board where the downtrend was starting to end. I think, yeah, it was right down here, you know, around 45. So I was somewhere, you know, right around there. I could see this little area on Bookmap. You know, it was starting to turn around. It was showing signs of the sellers having exhaustion and, you know, getting absorbed into the bid liquidity. It started to turn around and it came back up, you know, all all the way past here even. But it tested the top of this range. That was, and I saw high liquidity on that Trader Map Pro, and I also saw this, where this had been previously, and this high volume node. So I had set mine to 72. And I'll try to bring the picture of that up here. Yeah, we can see where I did this trade. I entered here. See, there were some that did not go well. See, I tried to go long here, got taken out there. Tried to go long here, got taken out again. There was one further back behind here. I got taken out on that one trying to go long. But we see how it's the bus is starting to turn around here. It looked like it further back up here. But then we see a lot of activity going on with the buy absorption in these areas of bid liquidity. And eventually right in this area. I might go to that in a minute. I saw signs of order flow behavior right around in here, and then when it went down to here and came back up, it did dip down to here, and I was thinking, oh no, that's almost where I'm going to be taken out. But then I scaled, and that takes away a little bit of the anxiousness, the nausea, and then and this was my target up here. And let me see if that picture's available in here. Nope, that is nope, that's from a different day. Might be in this section here. Okay, let me see if I can. Okay, here we go. So we had 3/120. Yeah, that's from today. So I was basically, see, here's 39.43. Got in somewhere around there. We saw this here. That was, I mean, to me, it seemed like this was here as bait. To try to get this to draw back up. It still wasn't enough after that huge down move. Came back up to here. And we're looking at this around 68 or so as a target. But then there was all of this right around 72. And this had been hanging around for most of the day so far at that point. So eventually it came up around in here, and that's where I took profit on that one. So you can look at this again here. You kind of see what I'm thinking right here. And I had moved my target up further. Right up to here later, just in case it does come down. I want to take some of that profit. I need to gather some better statistics on it, but I was doing, I had recovered from a big drawdown at that point. This is still in simulation. I'm still trying to get my statistics together, review everything, get my whole plan together so I can eventually go live. Realize it might take a while. I'm putting together these market replays to just have a record of my thoughts too. I mean, in addition to writing things down, taking screenshots, it's good to be able to listen to myself and what I was thinking on what particular day. So I think it's a good tool. And I have some of this stuff figured out a little bit more on IRT. Like for example, this one that's going back a year. This is about as far as Rhythmic will give me data. And we're kind of looking point of control still about 39.90. And we have these levels, and a lot of people in the traders lab, they have different analysis, different reasons, but these seem to be numbers that are just right in the middle of everything. That's kind of where we've been at the last year. The VPOC is 39.90 for this yearly volume profile. 4,000's another level. You can see what's been going on around there. It's oscillating back and forth. This was too much above here, then they explored down here. This was apparently a good deal. And then they went back up here, a bunch of volume transacted here. Another high volume node. They transacted here. They were going back and forth. They eventually decided that was too expensive, and then they came back to test this VPOC of this larger volume profile, a composite. And we're looking here at what happened today. So we opened low out of range. We tried to test up to see 76 was that high of the day. So we had kind of tested into what looks like, I think that is the that value area low. Kind of click on that volume area red. Let me adjust this here real quick. That didn't help. Let's see. A lot of this was just some more mean reversion. And we kind of had that yesterday also. The 27th, that was clearly a downtrend. And see, 56. See, that is right around, that's the VPOC of the day at the RTH. See the label here. And it went back and forth and down and up and down and up. So it was just another mean reversion, but it was still pointed to the downside overall. There's where we ended for the day session. I have this whole area set up now to where we're just looking at day sessions. So what do we have? Who could be on the hook tomorrow? Well, I don't know. Look at how many days in a row it went down. So you could have people on a higher time frame that are they have stops on the hook further up. But we look further back, you see we have a lower, we seem to keep going higher this year at least. I mean, we were here, kind of ended the year off, right down in here, I guess. So here we started the year around this. We're still going up, balanced out here. It's testing back down here right now. Right back in here, right around this VPOC still. And we're kind of oscillating above and below that 3990, 4000. So we're kind of in an area where it's hard to tell, where we're going next. And that's an area of this micro composite. There's 3858. Could go back down there. We could have found support here, and then there's another spot to test here. Here's a VPOC here. 4136. And let's go into bookmap here real quick. And I had kept this open for the most of the night session. How far will it go back? See, and it went up to that number again. Look at that. See, it went, tested up to that overnight high again. 3990. You saw how I was looking at that on the higher time frame. That's that VPOC of a year. And then, well, I think there were some news events. Let me look. So there might have been news events during the night. Yeah, and I'm Pacific time. So we look here. So around 5:30, we started to get some U.S. dollar economic news. A whole bunch of stuff happened yesterday around. Actually, no, I was on the wrong day. I messed up. This is March 1st. So what do we have in the morning here? We have, look, around 4. We had a big European event. Look at that, 2:10 my time. We have here around 4. There's a bunch of U.S. events. And then around 6 up to 7:30, you have a bunch of other U.S. dollar events. I don't know how relevant all of these other ones are. These stars are supposed to be, how much volatility. 7:30 high volatility expected. PMI high volatility expected. Here's another PMI moderate volatility. So we have, a reasonable number of events there. That could be a big deal. Let's keep in mind that okay. So we got 2:10. Gonna check that out. That's another one, 5 a.m. It's like from 2:10 to 7:30. Let's check that out. Where's 2:10? Okay, 2:10. But there's 83. Not all that much stuff really happened to the ES. Then we look at is it 4 a.m.? 4 a.m. we've got, we've got a whole bunch of stuff with the more of these 3 stars going on. Higher volatility expected, so kind of looking where did it go until 7:30. And look, those were apparently a big deal, those economic events. Because look, it came down, tested up here, oops, still too expensive. Look at that, that's all still too expensive. And, came back here. And that's kind of when we started to have a whole bunch of US news was around. Well, not US news. This may have had something to do with it. I don't know. Say it that I don't know. But we see that we got all these news events until 7:30. Let's go back here. Look, there's 5. That's when that European thing went off, the German CPI. And look at that, just look at that thing drop. Like an hour, look, 83 down to 60. Like not a tremendous drop, but it's a pretty good drop still. Came back up to 75. 7. See, we opened right here. So maybe that's what you call responsive buying up to here. See, we got overnight mid. Got the overnight VWAP. We tested those. There were probably some stops still from people that were overnight. Then we have a big stop run. Getting stop divergence there. Yeah, see stop divergence. Look at tested here. That's too much right now. Look at microstructure. Well, we do have the stop divergence, but it's not all that much going on. Then we got a big news event there. What is that? That's 7. Look, here's all this stuff going off. Got all sorts of stuff going on at 7. A bunch of this stuff happening at the same time. We got PMI, all these news events. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's a foreign one. And then 7 all the way through 7:30. We've got a bunch of stuff going on. So there's 7. Look, everything goes bonkers right here. Look, it tested up to here. Oops, that's still too expensive. Apparently. Look how the heat map. Just everybody was like, "Ooh, I don't want to get in. I don't want to be around during a news event." So this was, maybe big money, bigger than small fries, like us retail traders getting into that. And then you see what I'm getting at with the news events. I'm just throwing that in there. Where was I in this? I started trading around there. Here could be something good to look at for order flow. So we came down here. There's a lot of liquidity going on down here. I think, I just started watching Doug's options stream. I don't understand too much about options. I've been learning more about futures. But look at this order flow activity. Let's break this down real quick. So you see sweeps. It's kind of probing down there. Then this one goes off. There's some more stops. Could call that a little bit of a stop run. Look at that 134. Look at all these guys right here. Yep, yep. If you look at all those right there, there's icebergs. Who knows what they're doing? Who knows what time frame they're operating in? It's another thing for me to keep learning about. Look at there, 51. See, did they go into, yeah, see, they transacted into here. They're getting filled. Look at that. Getting filled, getting filled, getting filled. See now we got a little buyer activity. So this transacted here. Look at that. Now we're starting to see more. So it's filled this stuff here. This bid liquidity is getting filled. We have that green square that's buy absorption. We're starting to see this come here. We're not getting sellers. We start to see the buyers come into play. Look, we've got this here. Where's the sellers? They don't look interested anymore. We went up here. Not quite ready yet, but we're seeing, here's the beginnings of, that we got all this liquidity down here. We're starting to see the bus turn around a little bit. And then we come into this big one. Look at that. Let's try to zoom in here and break this thing down. So look, we went here. Look at that. Look at that. See, we've got a whole bunch of these. Is that an algo? Maybe. Look at how fast that's happening. Look, all of these buy absorptions. What do we see there? Look, all of them have little squares. So, I mean, look at that. We're down to fractions of a second. I don't know how small fractions of a second. This is all going on. Looks like within a second or something. Look at it's filling all that. Come back out. Look, it's transacting here. Got a bunch of buying activity. Bunch of buy absorption. So that's telling us, hey, they're getting ready to go long here. And then look, we start to get, see, it's getting weaker. Look at that, weaker, weaker. Look, 75, 36, 3, 2, 19, 13. One lot Louis there. 5. Starting to see them come in. Then look, there's one lot Louis. There's a 84. Look, see, it's starting to go off. We're seeing the book lighten up. Seeing the sellers just losing their grip right there. And look at that. See, we're starting to see the bid pushing up. You see just really weak aggressor behavior from them. See, we're seeing clearly the buyers are the aggressors here. Still wasn't quite ready yet. See, we still have quite a bit here. It didn't fill all this stuff, so it came down again. Let's look at that. See, the same kind of deal. Maybe these are algos down here. See, buy absorption, buy absorption, buy absorption. Looks like this stuff got filled. And we see all of that going off. See all of this going off. Smaller, way smaller. Look at that. That's a big one, 750. 146, 7. You see, look at how much weaker the sellers are getting. And then we have this retest coming down here. It's not much. It's 20. It's holding right here. There's looks like this has been filled for now. Looks like that liquidity's filled. And then we start the trip back up. And where do we go? We go to 60. So we're testing above here. Got a stop run. You're getting exhaustion here. See those sweeps? They're trying to push it higher all of a sudden. You've got a sell absorption going on right there. Then boom, down. Now it's testing this again. It's testing above this range. We have stop divergence. Comes back up, but this VPOC shifted, so they're accepting prices at a lower level now, the participants. We have a bunch of retail stops up here. We know all about that. So this temporarily, pushed it back down. See, things still weren't quite ready for it to go up. See, this was starting to be accepted as a fair price. Here it was like, okay, you want to get short again. Or I shouldn't say that, but look, this is showing, okay, we're showing, here we go. We're trying to figure out, is this a fair price or not? Saying this is too high. This is coming back down here. We're testing here. There's that 225. Didn't really look like it filled liquidity that much. I don't, and that's not really much that you can call stop divergence there. But then look, we have where's this? 52. Look at where we are in that. So we're supporting right there. Sellers lose interest. We know all of this stuff filled. That's a lot of orders there. This could be, some stops, some weak longs. Getting stopped here. I mean, possibly it's just things I'm thinking about. Look at all these sell absorptions. They're not able to take this down any further. They're not getting much momentum there. So, and then they exhaust around here. They're just running out of juice. And then it takes off. Hard to say if that's a long because the price is accepting down lower now. See, that 50 ended up being that initial balance low. We go up here, we test there, it's holding right there. It's holding right there. The sellers are not very interested. And we know there's retail stops up here, so why wouldn't it take these out? There's retail stops all up in there. And then see, then we have this structure. Look, you've got that. Look, you've kind of got that. Trying to test into this structure here. This all makes sense. Look, pushed higher, went down low, pushed higher. So it's like a little bit like mean reversion, but it's still skewed towards the downside. And that was still kind of what we're looking at on that higher time frame. There were mixed signals that were a little bit tough to read. And then here, now you see we're going, okay, this came down in here. We'll call it that. Looking, it kind of breached down into here, so going, okay, this could be taking out these longs, possibly. See, this could be long stops getting taken out. There's a bunch of stuff going on right here. Pretty big iceberg. There were a bunch here. I don't really know where the icebergs are operating in. Comes down to here. We have this little structure here. Look at this. See, the sellers are losing interest. And we see a lot of that same activity I went over a few minutes ago. This order flow structure, look at that. So you've got a bunch of these going off. These are all getting clumped together. So I zoom back further out. But it looked like it didn't go right into there yet. So it's still probing. Still probing. These are getting put out there. It's not quite going in there yet. But we see it starting to come on. We're starting to see buy absorption, buy absorption, buy absorption, buy absorption, buy absorption, buy absorption. So we're starting to see little pieces of it. And then kind of look around here. You see how there's less bid liquidity there? Maybe they got filled. That's a pretty decent size stop run there, 453. Look at all these stops going off. They're all these sell stops going off. Look, 453.20. Look, you've got all this right here, stop divergence. You had this stuff that already happened. It's hard to pinpoint it where you get in. I'm just kind of going over what I'm seeing with order flow, what's going through my head with it, so I can review this later. Look, there's sell sweeps. They're not really getting anywhere with it. Look at that. See, that's kind of the last straw there. Look, sweeps, 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 sell sweeps. They're not really getting anywhere with it. You know, and you have this going. There's a decent size iceberg, 900, 930 something. Stop divergence, going into a big iceberg. I can't say for sure, you know, if that triggered the whole thing, but you got stop divergence, you got buy iceberg, you have this, you know, trying to come down. Look at how much less stops it is. Got 96 versus 325. All this other stuff executed. So you've got a little bit of a structure where this stuff back here happened. Got all this stuff back here. Kind of makes a little structure. You look at it, kind of similar to Wyckoff. So this might be a spring in Wyckoff, that accumulation phase. And then it comes up, it retests this whole thing. See, it's sitting above here. Whereas the sellers, they're not looking very interested right now. Even here, look at that one lot Louis. Got one lot Louis sitting there. And, you know, it's just getting real weak with the sell stops coming up here, testing that. Look, it's testing right above. Look, one tick at 45.25. See, right around 45 there. That's where all this stuff went on. It went back down a little bit. Did that stop divergence, went into this big iceberg. Sitting right here above all this stuff, one tick above it. The sellers aren't interested anymore. Look at that. There's not much going on at all. So look, 2. Look at that. That's nothing. You know, and then we go back up, and this rectangle's just here to show you where's the previous thing going on. There's a previous structure there. You know, it could have stopped here, you know, 39.50. There's that number. Let's look at that real quick. Look, 39.50, what happened here? We got some kind of maybe that's algo activity. I need to learn more about algos. That cell absorption. I mean, it just wasn't enough. It just wasn't enough to keep pushing it lower. See, we still have buyers being aggressive here. Looks like whatever's going on with the absorption, it's just not enough to withstand, the aggression from the buyers. See, we have a bunch of small fries down here. And then at 50 was pretty important. Look, we saw all that stuff in there. Where's the sellers? They're not showing up. They're not interested. And then we go up. We're sitting on top of that previous structure. It's still testing, like, okay, is it going to find support where that structure is or not? And then eventually we just see, okay, it's probing. A stop run here. Came back down here. Seeing more buy absorption. We're seeing there's this sell absorption. It didn't really, it went up into this. It pushed it back down here. A few points. I retested this. It couldn't go any lower past all this stuff. So it's sitting, above this other stuff. And then we have that one. It's sitting above this stuff and on top of this other structure, fractal. And look, seller's not really interested much. Seller's not really interested much. It's a small stop divergence, and that's tough to really make anything out of. And the VPOC shifted down too. So you're going, okay, is this price? And we start to see it moving around, so that's kind of telling us, hey, the mean reversion. They're still trying to figure out where is the fair price. And they're going pretty much between 68 and 58. The VPOC. So now we get back up here. It is going, this is looking like it's a fair price. Looks like a little liquidity hit here. And then look at that. You have a little more buying. Look at that 259. Then you've got looks like it didn't quite go into there, but something's happened right there. And you kind of see this, it's transacting into these prices. You see more of it, and there, see this stuff's transacting inside of here. And we have some of this transacted here. Look at all that bunch of buy absorptions into this 65. Came down to here. Testing another structure somewhere. Yeah, see, it's kind of testing this cluster of stuff where the open was at. Coming back up to here. see this, it's not. You've got a structure there. You test it into there. You've got this, you know, almost like another Wyckoff looking structure. Good distribution. Look, the buyers are getting less and less interested. Look there. Big stop run. Came back, tested into this whole structure. Tested into here again. 260, 157. They're just losing steam all up through here. And then see, here is kind of where they just went, you know, we're out of gas. We're out of gas. We're going back down at least to here. And it came back down. Where's the buyers? They're not looking interested right here. You know, they make it back up to there. The VPOC shifts a little bit. It's moving around a little bit. Came here. Look, and that was developing value area high. So we knew this was all above that value area high. So coming down, you know, where are the retail stops again? Mid and VWAP. 65, see, that's the open. Okay, so I was talking about, you know, is there structure here? I tested the opening price again. So then it's, that's kind of saying, hey, that, you know, looks like we're going short again. You know, here's another place there's liquidity. It just blew right past that. Looks like they pulled, kind of. It couldn't withstand the that momentum going down. Okay, and we're seeing a lot of the same thing again. See, I already went over liquidity getting filled. You see this kind of thing going on. High liquidity, bunch of absorption, buy absorptions. Look, we have stop divergence. It's starting to get smaller. Stop divergence comes down below this stuff into here. Doesn't quite make it. We had all this previous activity, kind of like those other two that I went over. And there's still pieces I am working on understanding. You know, see, then this comes to test that structure again at 50. IBL. So this, I mean, either this right here, that could be your IBF setup. So you could have from here to here, that's not bad, you're scaled. You could still be in this. Your stop below there. It's kind of testing top of that structure at 50. That was an important number. It's IBL. See how that's lining up with the structures. See how the liquidity, there's some larger player interested in that just all day long. You know, and then you could be saying, okay, another stop divergence. Look at that. Right above 50. You know, there's more. There's 326, but it's not pushing the price down. You know, comes back up to VPOC. This came down significantly though, so you're going, okay, was this too expensive? You're going, this looks like more of a fair price, 55, but then this supports above here, above a bunch of this other stuff. And we know where those retail players, those retail traders, they put their stops. A lot of them around VWAP and mid, and there's automated stuff that operates based off of VWAP and mid. So came up here, stop divergence, comes back down. Now we have it's kind of the end of the day, so that's, you had a little bit of a, whoa, look at that, too much junk on there. See, you get what I'm saying, you know, so we're seeing that. There's close. It's like a bunch of cells, like they want out of the thing, and then it just kind of there's a lot lower volume stuff, and it pushes back up. Look, they're just taking out more stops. We can probably zoom in. There's not much going on there, but okay. Yeah, well, I've gone on long enough here, so I think this is a good exercise for me to keep learning with. So, and like I said, Monday through Friday, hopefully I will stay disciplined enough and be able to read this enough to sit here, record this stuff, put it on YouTube. I would like to be able to break it down. I've been going on for almost an hour now, but I keep seeing stuff, so it's a good training exercise. Uh, I need to get to bed so I can be ready for tomorrow's stuff, so I'm going to end it here.